Hi, welcome to my channel. My name's Andrew, and this is my first video on this channel, which I will be using to talk about books, which I adore. I've been an avid reader my entire life, and I've been a big fan of a lot of booktubers now for a few years, and I have a Bookstagram account that I'll put the name in the description. And yeah, I thought it would be fun to finally kind of start a YouTube channel so I can talk more about this and hopefully kind of get involved in some communities about this. So today is the first video, and it's going to be kind of an introduction to me and to the channel, and I'm going to do that via a book haul. So I've got 11 or 12 books here that I've got over the last couple weeks. Most of them are fantasy, because that's kind of what I read right now. I read a lot of science fiction and fantasy, but more fantasy right now. And yeah, so I'll just go through these, and hopefully you've read some and you enjoy them, or we can, have a conversation about them. Okay, so the first book I got, I'm very excited for. I found out about it a few months ago before it came out, and then it just came out pretty recently, I think, and that's The Lights of Prague by Nicole Jarvis. This sounds very cool. It's like kind of vampires or vampiric creatures and monster hunting, and it's kind of historical fiction or historical fantasy fiction. Takes place in Prague, obviously. I'm very excited for it. I think thematically it sounds cool. It sounds moody and dark and kind of mysterious. So very excited for this one. I also got this massive book, Dreams of the Dying. This looks awesome. I first kind of picked it up literally just from the cover alone. It looked so beautiful. And then I was really surprised to find out it's a self-published book, which is remarkable because it really is such a beautiful book. This one also, yeah, like the tone and atmosphere sound really cool. It's kind of like dark fantasy or almost even horror fantasy, apparently. I don't really know much about the plot or anything, but it sounded really cool, so I'm very excited to start that. And then I got, this isn't fantasy, but Interior Chinatown by Charles Yu. I picked this up because I heard of the author through a story he wrote in this collection of science fiction short stories, People's Future of the United States. His story, I think, is called Good News, Bad News. And it's an incredible story. It's hilarious. It's very poignant. But yeah, so there's this book, which I don't think is science fiction or fantasy, but it sounds really cool in what it does with genre and kind of character tropes and stuff. So it's really cool. I also love the cover. I'm kind of basic in that way. I judge books by their covers, and this is a great one. Another non-fantasy book, I think the last non-fantasy book, is Foucault's Pendulum by Umberto Eco. I don't know much about this book either, but I love one of his other books, The Name of the Rose. It's an incredible, beautiful book, kind of like Sherlock Holmes in a 14th century monastery type thing. But this book is kind of an intellectual thriller, whatever that means. And yeah, I don't know. I really don't know much about it, but it sounds cool, and I liked his other book, so I'm excited to read more by him. And then kind of back to the realm of fantasy, we have Fledgling by Octavia Butler. Octavia Butler is one of my favorite authors. Her book, Parable of the Sower, is one of my favorite novels of all time. It's a beautiful, terrifying book, but an incredible book. And this is really cool. This is kind of Octavia Butler's take on vampires, which is awesome. One of my favorite authors talking about vampires. Yeah, that's kind of all I need. Apparently HBO is also now doing a show based on Fledgling, so I'm very excited for that. Then we got kind of a very popular book on BookTube a little while ago. I think everyone's read it but me, but Piranesi by Susanna Clark. I love this cover, even without the dust jacket. I think it's such a beautiful book. I'm very excited for it. A lot of people have kind of said prose-wise it's kind of like Madeline Miller's Circe, which is one of my favorite novels, so very excited for this book. Then we also have The House on the Cerulean Sea. I'm really excited for this. A lot of the things I've been reading lately are really dark and heavy things. I've been reading some of the Malazan Book, The Fallen, which I've been enjoying, but I think with everything going on in the world right now, I need some lighter stuff. So I think this is what I might be reading next, because it sounds really just cozy and sweet. It's kind of very light fantasy, meets queer love story, so that's perfect. I think that's great for right now. And yeah, it's a very popular, like, well-respected book, so I'm sure I will love it. Then we also got, and this is the one I'm reading right now, The Jasmine Throne by Tasha Suri. I'm really enjoying this. Again, I picked it up because I saw the cover and I was like, well, that's gorgeous. And I'm really liking it so far. It's kind of, revolution is stirring and really cool world building and some interesting magic stuff. And yeah, I'm really liking it. I'd never heard of this author, but she's got a few books out, so I'm definitely going to check them out now because this is great so far. Then we've got this, which is very strange and exciting for me. It's called The Master of Jinn by P. Jelly Clark. This is really cool to me because it's a historical fantasy set in early 20th century Cairo, which is really cool to me because I'm actually finishing up my master's in modern Arab history. So I'm kind of all about 19th and 20th and 21st century kind of Arab history. And so it's a really interesting time to set a book, kind of early 20th century Egypt. And yeah, it's kind of like, not magical realism. I guess it's more fantasy than that, but it just sounds really interesting. It's kind of breakdown between our realm and the magical realm, so there's magic in the world. And yeah, so very excited for it. Also a very cool cover. I've heard a lot of very cool things about it. Then we have, this book just came out and it's already very popular. I'm excited for it. She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan. This is kind of, I think, an alternate history or kind of a alternate take on I think like 13th or 14th century Chinese history. It's described somewhere online or on the back as kind of like Mulan meets the Song of Achilles. So that sounds strange and awesome. So yeah, I'm very excited for this, and it's a beautiful cover, so I can't wait. And then the last two books I've got are both by the same author. One I'd never heard of actually before, but I was really struck by both these covers. So it's Zen Cho. The first one, I adore this cover. The Order of the Pure Moon Reflected in Water. Wow, beautiful cover. Yeah, it's cool. It's just a short little novella, I guess, but it's apparently beautiful. It sounds very kind of lyrical and just kind of quaint. I don't really know the story, but it sounds very cool and nice, and it's a quick little read, so I thought, why not? And then the other book by the same author is Black Water Sister, which I know little to nothing about. Other than that, I think it's like a Malaysian girl whose grandmother starts haunting her, and it's kind of family drama meets ghost story meets fantasy. So it sounds really cool. So yeah, I'm very excited for this one as well. So yeah, that's my haul for the day. I've got these over the last few weeks. I'm very excited for them. Let me know if you've read any of them or if you have any recommendations based on these or anything like that. So yeah, that's my first video. I'm sure I will hopefully do more where you'll get more of a sense of what I read, both within fantasy and outside. Like I said, I'm a master's student, so I do a lot of like history and philosophy and politics. So we might do a little bit of that, but I think for this channel, I'm probably going to stick with fiction and with fantasy because that's kind of my big love right now. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I hope I will see you again soon.